Martin Ziegler reports football spectators will be allowed to stand in selected Premier League and Championship stadiums this season for the first time in more than 25 years. The Sports Ground Safety Authority has invited clubs in the top two divisions to apply to become early adopters of safe standing from January the 1st. Now, Tottenham, Chelsea, West Ham and Man City are understood to have the correct facilities in place to be part of the programme. Now, let me just run you through the criteria the clubs need to have if they're to fulfil all what they need to be able to do this. They need to have the necessary infrastructure being in place, such as seats with barriers and independent barriers, which must be in both home and away sections. Fans must be able to sit or stand in the safe standing area. The seats cannot be locked up or down. There must also be just one seat space per person. Also, the standing areas must not impact the viewing standards for other fans. There must be a code of conduct in place for fans in the licensed standing area, and the ground must consult with its safety advisory group about plans for the licensed standing areas. Ray, I remember being on this show with you a couple of weeks ago and we were asking if you could change one thing about football, what would it be and why? Well, you said safe standing.
Yeah, I think Simon's got a good point. You should be able to stand, or look, even at games now, you see a lot of areas where they stand up and they got a seat, but they still want to stand up. So I think you should have the right to say, well, I'd rather stand up watching a football match. Is the attendance, will they go up a little bit, or you get more? Obviously, more people can go together, or is it still going to be exactly the same?
I don't know.
One seat is you still stand in the seating area. I don't know. How it's all going to work, because you remember the old days, Al. It was
what are your memories, Al,
shoulder to shoulder,
playing and going to games with safe standing?
I listen. Standing for me is, I'm old school, old fashioned. I loved getting in games, especially away games. And everyone knows when I was a kid in Glasgow at Celtic, I used to love going away, and there was more fans in the away end than there should be. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, of course.
People get lifty overs and stuff like that. Ali will tell you the same, Alan McCoy's. But it was just magical. But when we talk about Sways, the Cop, and I talk about Celtic against Leeds, it is a miracle that, people didn't get hurt more often. And you can go back to the Ibrox disaster. And by the way, Hampden Park. Hampden had steep entrances as well and exits, really, and it was crumbling as well. So we got away with a lot in those days, in the 60s and 70s, when there could have been a lot worse. So we've got to be really careful how we do this. If it can be done properly, yes. But you mentioned about 20 different things there. It's not easy.
Oh yeah, no, a lot of stuff has
easy.
to be in place. Yeah.
Do you remember the rails? You used to stand against the rail, didn't you?
Well, but that's what I did. That game I told you about, Celtic Leeds, there was 134,000. We got in early, and I got right at the front with my back on the barrier, so no one could crush me, if you know what I mean, right? And that's what people used to do. But I think in Germany and places and outside Europe, they've got safe standing where the seats
yellow wall
away.
Is it yellow wall, isn't it?
So there is. We can take a lot of advice from other countries that have used it.
Believe it or not, Sam, when I was an apprentice, I used to have to paint them rails in the North Bank.
Really?
So what you used to stand against, that was a part of our job as an apprentice to paint them.
A lot of people talk about how the new modern stadiums, they lack atmosphere, like, back in the day. Is this something that you think could help bring back a proper old school atmosphere?
Well, you go to places like Anfield, it's still rocking. I mean,
Old Trafford.
Imagine Liverpool against AC Milan the other night.
Old
atmosphere,
Old Trafford. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere is certain grounds
Even
still
West
there.
Ham, when West Ham are flying there at the moment,
But the new stadiums, Ray, though, in the new stadiums, let's say West Ham or
Everton's an old stadium.
You wouldn't go back.
West Ham's good.
You wouldn't go back to the old ones now. You shouldn't. No. You might get. Some people say, the atmosphere was better, but in terms of safety, in terms of getting a drink, a pie, or whatever, I'm not talking about corporate. I'm talking about the normal fans who want to queue order
so much
and
better
get
now.
some. Yeah. So and getting in and out
quicker.
is so much safer. It really is.
Of course, Celtic have had safe standing since 2016. Have you been out since it's been introduced? Have people spoken well about
I
what
was
sports
at Celtic
ground?
Rangers, but I can't remember because people stand there, and there's the Celtic not ultras. I don't like calling fans ultras, but they were bouncing up and down, and the Rangers fans were bouncing up and down. So you couldn't tell who was sitting, who was standing, to be honest, or who was meant to be. But it's really disappointing in the moment. Rangers won't let Celtic in, and vice versa. It's garbage. Never mind fans in; they won't let ex-players in. It's a joke.
Well, certainly the away fans are very important. If you're going to have a good atmosphere, I always say the FA Cup games are probably
fantastic,
better than sometimes the Premier League because you get the whole stand.
More away fans.
I've been at Arsenal and the Emirates, and you had 9,000 Leeds fans
I was
at one
there.
end.
Yeah, I was there.
What an atmosphere! So much better when you got the away fans who can have a little bit of
Well, I bet
banter.
you anyone who was there last night, 7,000 Wimbledon fans. I know they got gubbed 3-0, but I bet they said it was
They
brilliant.
probably had a great night.
Is there one atmosphere you played in, Red, that stands out in your head? One game, one match, which is better than anything else?
Well, I'm going to go a European game. I played Panathinaikos once, and it was right in the middle of a town. The noise, and there weren't a lot of fans there, probably 30,000, I should imagine, but they made so much noise. It was deafening. I promise you.
Manchester's European debut, Nou Camp. 100,000. What a noise they made.
Probably in England's point of view.
Although I was young.
As an away, Upton Park was tough back in the day.
Do you know where it was noisy? Everton.
Everton's very noisy.
Everton was noisy. And the baseball ground, Derby's old ground, was fantastic.
QPR, another one.
Yeah, Friday nights there were great.
Really, it was exactly the same as it is now. Great atmosphere at QPR. I'm sure it would have been rocking the other night when they beat Everton in the
Villa
League
Park,
Cup.
Holt End when they get
Villa
going was
Park,
great.
yeah, some great atmospheres in England.
We grew up in a golden era, I think. I really do. But nowadays it's easier, access, safer. We just got to work out how we get more atmosphere out of it without destroying what we've worked so hard for.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.